Xdefiant finally released a couple of days ago. If you haven't heard of this, I'm not surprised, as I haven't seen much advertised, but it's essentially a multiplayer shooter that is very similar to the old CODs. It does have class abilities a bit like Black Ops 4 though, and some of the game modes remind me of Overwatch as well, so it feels like a bit of a blend of all three. I'm coming from more of a COD background, so this video will go over my initial impressions on the game from that perspective. One important thing to note is that this game is free to play, and some of my points in this video will keep that in mind. So I last played this back when it was in beta in June 2023, and on the surface it doesn't seem like there's been many changes despite multiple launch delays. Speaking of the launch though, the first day was unplayable for almost every player, and there was issues with the matchmaking servers, meaning that you couldn't find a lobby. Not a great start to this release, but the game is free to play, so a lot of people probably wanted to play. I said this in my Grey Zone Warfare review that no studio seems to be able to get this right on release day. The servers do seem fine now though, and I was able to find matches pretty quickly actually, much faster than COD. Another issue that has happened at launch is the connection quality. This issue is really widespread. Some games it doesn't seem too bad for me, and then others it seems like my bullets are passing through enemies. I know that there's a lot of people on Reddit who have had really terrible hit detection and have been killed around corners due to lag or desync, and it's really not a good impression on all of the players playing this. This is a massive, major issue that really needs fixing. It was present in the beta and it has improved a ton since then. It's still really bad, and it's likely the biggest cause for people to not continue to play. So another one of the problems I've had whilst I've been playing is that my footsteps for my own character are really loud. So if I'm moving at all, I cannot hear any enemy's footsteps. I know this is meant to discourage people from just sprinting everywhere and having super hearing knowing where everybody is, but it's so loud that I cannot hear much else while I'm sprinting. I'd like this to be toned down a bit if possible so that I can still move around the map, as it feels like this encourages less movement. So one of the best things about this game is the matchmaking system. In casual play, there is no skill-based matchmaking, no engagement-based matchmaking like COD, nothing like that. When you play in a lobby, I believe the teams are balanced based on skill, but it doesn't feel like the outcome is predetermined by an algorithm like it feels like in COD. The biggest thing with this one is that if you perform well in game, you don't have a massive sense of it being a pity game that the algorithm just handed to you, and then your next few games are going to be absolutely terrible. This is far, far superior to the COD matchmaking system, and does not feel like a predetermined slot machine when you matchmake. Skill-based matchmaking is enabled in ranked play though, which is where it belongs. So as a small side point here, I don't understand why the practice zone is still disabled. Especially when a game is new, you want a place where you can fix your controls and sensitivity and maybe get used to some of the movement and some of the aiming. This seems like a really weird error or a weird decision that the company has made, and it doesn't really make sense to me. So when comparing to COD, the gunplay and movement isn't quite as fluid as COD is. From what I was feeling when I was playing, some of the animations feel too slow, and some of them feel too fast. They kind of feel clunky for a lack of a better word. In COD, the mantling and sliding feel a lot more fluid, however in this game, it doesn't really feel like that. Aiming with the mouse also feels a little bit off, but I can't really seem to figure out why just yet, and I'm pretty sure it's not sensitivity related. It might be something to do with acceleration, perhaps. Maybe I just need more playtime to get used to these things, and I'm so used to Call of Duty. It also does feel like they need a bit of a balancing pass on the weapons and abilities at the moment too, because the sniper is very strong even in close range situations. I've heard the shotgun shoots marshmallows, which doesn't really do any damage, and if you have multiple people on your team with the vision ability, you can see the other team almost all the time through the walls. But coming back to the weapons though, you unlock other weapons through challenges rather than your account level like in COD, which I think is a nice way to do it and something a bit different. Each gun also has levels, and you unlock attachment through the leveling grind, just like COD. You can then go on to unlock mastery camos for the gun, level 50 for bronze, 75 for silver, and 100 for gold. When I was playing though, the weapon XP was incredibly slow. It might be a pay to skip element of the game's monetization, or perhaps I was missing something. The attachment in this game do make a big difference to your gun, so having these levels be so slow will affect your ability to use your gun effectively, and this means that it discourages you to swap to a different gun given a certain situation. For example, if you're in a situation where you need a longer range weapon and you're using an SMG, do you really want to pull out that marksman rifle if it hasn't got a sight on it and it hasn't been leveled yet? The mastery camos being high levels are fine, probably a good thing as it gives people something to work for, and it's a good way to get people to continue playing. But as the attachment unlock levels are around the high 40s for all of the attachments for each gun, it's going to take a very long time to get everything for at least one gun, let alone all of the guns in the game. So the last point I'm going to talk about here for now is the map design and the spawns. The map's seen okay from what I've played before, but the spawn design puts CODs to shame. I thought Modern Warfare 2 spawns were bad, but then Modern Warfare 3 came out, and they are absolutely terrible. One of the main reasons I hardly play multiplayer on COD anymore is simply because of the spawns. However, with Xdefiant, I can tell roughly where people are going to be coming from, and I'm pretty confident that I'm not going to spawn, walk forwards a couple of meters, and then get shot in the back by a player that spawned where I did 5 seconds ago. I also haven't spawned in the line of fire of other enemies, or in someone's red dot, directly on the dot, like it happens in COD all of the time. So with these better spawns, the map flow felt far more fluid as well, which is a major point in COD. I think a lot of the maps in CODs are bad just because of the spawns, not because of the map design. Okay, so that's some of my initial impressions and some of the kind of feedback I've got for the game. But that doesn't really tell you whether it's worth trying or not, so I'm going to leave you with this. If you like COD multiplayer, especially the more older style of CODs, give it a go. The game is free, and the download isn't enormous like COD. If you're more of a Warzone player and don't like COD multiplayer, have a look at some gameplay videos. This might not be the game for you, but it might also be worth trying again because it's free. If you're coming from Overwatch or another FPS, again, I'd say give it a try. Especially the escort mode is very similar to Overwatch. It probably won't feel that different. So I'm interested in hearing your thoughts about the game and what you're experiencing so far. Do you think the game is a fun experience like the older CODs, or do you think it needs some improvement? Leave a comment down below telling me your thoughts. Alright, that's it from me today, but subscribe for more and I'll catch you next time.